You wake before the sun because the castle never truly sleeps. Somewhere below you in the darkness of the great hall, a fire has been burning through the night. You hear the low crack of wood, the scrape of someone feeding the flames, the soft movement of dogs crossing the hall. Before your eyes have even opened, the castle is already awake. Before this day ends, you'll understand something most people never imagine. The safest place in medieval Europe was also one of the hardest places to live. You lie still for a moment on your straw pallet, your blanket pulled to your chin, listening to the castle the way you always do before opening your eyes. Stone holds cold in a way nothing else does. The wall beside you is damp, even in summer. In January it feels as though the castle itself is pulling warmth from your body. You've stopped noticing it the way you've stopped noticing anything that has always been true. You rise. The floor is stone. Your feet find it in the dark. The cold climbs through your legs immediately. There is no slow waking here. You are asleep one moment and moving the next, because the castle depends on hundreds of people beginning their day before the sun ever does. The great hall in the early morning is a different world than it is at night. Hours ago it belonged to sleeping men wrapped in wool cloaks, dogs stretched beside the fire, and the quiet glow of dying embers. Now it belongs to movement. Servants carry wood across the hall, chamber pots disappear through side doors, others sweep the rushes beneath your feet, trying to clear away everything yesterday left behind, ash, mud, grease, old food, smoke. Fresh herbs are scattered across the floor to soften the smell. They never quite succeed. The first thing every visitor notices is the air. Smoke caught beneath the rafters, damp wool drying too slowly, animals housed only a short walk away, yesterday's meal lingering into another morning. After enough years, you stop noticing. The castle simply smells like home. Breakfast comes simply and early, bread baked yesterday, weak ale, perhaps hard cheese if the stores are generous. Perhaps pottage left warming beside the fire. You eat quickly because breakfast is not the beginning of the day. It is permission to begin working. And the work has already been waiting for you since before sunrise. If you belong to the household, the animals eat before you do. Not because they are more important, because the castle cannot function without them. Hungry horses cannot carry riders, hungry dogs cannot hunt, hungry hawks cannot fly. A castle survives because everyone understands this order. Nobody needs to explain it. You've known it since you were old enough to carry a bucket. By mid-morning, the castle has settled into its first rhythm. The sounds layer over one another until you can tell where you are without opening a single door. The blacksmith's hammer rings somewhere beyond the outer yard. Voices drift from the kitchens. Footsteps spiral upward through the stone staircases, echoing so clearly that the whole tower seems to breathe around them. Somewhere above you, a wooden shutter bangs against the wind. Nobody rushes to fix it. There is always something more important waiting. The windows are narrow and high. They were built to keep arrows out. They also keep warmth and daylight out. Most rooms live in a permanent blue-grey dimness, even when the sky outside is perfectly clear. You stop noticing how dark the castle is because you've never known anything different. You no longer count the steps. Your body does it for you. 3 steps down to the kitchen passage, 7 more to the storeroom, left beneath the worn stone arch, right where the wall feels colder beneath your fingertips. Long before you know the castle by sight, you know it by memory. Light is a privilege here. Every candle costs money, every torch consumes precious wood, every extra flame must be earned. The brightest rooms belong to the people important enough to deserve them. Everyone else learns to live with shadows. By midday, the great hall transforms once again. Long wooden boards are placed across trestles. Benches scrape against the stone floor. At the far end of the hall, the Lord's table stands raised above all the others. Where you sit tells everyone exactly who you are. No introductions, no explanations, just a seat. You've never sat near the dais. You've never heard the conversations held there. You don't need to. The distance between your table and theirs says everything. The food follows the same journey. The finest cuts reach the high table first. What remains travels downward through the household, becoming smaller, colder, and simpler before it reaches your hands. Today, it's thick stew, coarse bread, and salted fish preserved months ago. The fish is almost painfully salty. The bread softens it. The ale makes both easier to swallow. You eat what arrives. You always have. One thing surprises you after enough years inside these walls. You can tell someone's place in the castle before they speak, by the clothes they wear, the way others step aside, the table where they sit, even how confidently they walk across the hall. Rank isn't something you hear about. It's something you see every hour of every day. And before the afternoon is over, you'll be reminded once again that even warmth follows the same rules. The afternoon belongs to work again. The castle grows quieter, but it never becomes quiet. The blacksmith still strikes iron beyond the walls. The kitchens never stop. Somewhere above you, footsteps echo through the spiral towers. Every sound tells you someone is carrying wood, preparing food, repairing leather or sharpening steel. A castle is never finished. It is only constantly maintained. Sometimes your work takes you into the Lord's solar. It is the warmest room in the entire castle. Heavy tapestries cover the stone walls. A private fireplace burns longer than any other. The air feels different here, softer, warmer, almost still. Your shoulders relax before you even realize it. You straighten chairs, replace rushes, carry fresh firewood. You work quickly because this room doesn't belong to you. Before you leave, you pause for a single moment. You wonder what it must feel like to wake every morning in a room like this. Then you step back into the corridor. The cold finds you almost immediately. That's when you understand something else about castle life. Warmth is a privilege. Not everyone is allowed to keep it. By late afternoon, the light begins to change. Every maid, every child carrying water, every person keeps it alive. If even a handful stop, the castle begins to fail. Tomorrow, before the sun rises, you'll wake to the sound of that machine beginning another day. You won't question it. You won't resent it, because this is the only life you've ever known. And lying beneath your blanket, listening to the fire settle into embers, it feels ordinary. It has always been ordinary. If you want to experience history rather than read about it, the world before will be here.